Deuteronomy 28. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to observe and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Most High God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. But if thou wilt not hearken to the voice of the Most High, to observe and do all his commandments, then curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
All these lies and delusions, wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of the light. I am awakened, I am awakened.
Israelites seek out the ways of the heathen to make a covenant with Satan's government. Turn their face away from the Most High, evil desire. 2 Kings 17 said they passed their sons and daughters through the fire. They begin cutting divine spiritual ties, clinging to the heathen lies. Evil spirits bind, breaking souls, breaking spirits, ripping flesh, breaking minds. Running from the Most High wrath on the blood-stained path. 70 AD, Israelites fall. The Most High's chosen seed go into captivity. Hebrew Israelites watch nations rise, they watch nations fall. Four beasts, Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece. We pray for the fall of the fourth beast. Under the iron foot of Rome, we long to go home. A hopeless nation lies dead in the valley of the dry bones. Simulation of Shemites to Hamite clones. Israelites roam.
All these lies and delusions, wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of the light. I am awakened, I am awakened.
Israelites enslaved to build a wicked nation. No true identity, only tribulations. Fed scraps of swine, we eat the worst of the animal kind. Used, confused, they set us in high places to be abused. Control the tribe, control the tribe. Our leaders take bribes to continue the lies. Fourth beast behind the scene in disguise, watching with the all-seeing eye. The heathen take flight into a new world order. Hebrews sleepwalking into a wicked system that's gonna fall. Awake, awake, reject Babylon. Hear the trumpet of awakening throughout the day and night. Awake, the Most High's people, the Israelites. The earth has swallowed the flood of deception. The harvest ripe for collection. His people are walking, standing like a mighty army. The Most High has summoned, the Hebrews are coming. Awake, come out of captivity. Awake, you who sleep, arise. Receive the Most High's laws and commandments. We are the Israelites.
In my mind, all these lies and delusions, wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of the light. I am awakened, I am awakened. Clear my mind and my soul. Gave me a new man. Oh, made me whole. I'll rise up.
Quam.
I'll be a new light.
Quam.
I am awakened.
Quam.
I am awakened.
Quam. Yasha.
All these lies and delusions, wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of the light. I am awakened, I am awakened. Whoa.
Shalom, 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 y'all. It is Yaak Michael Israel here. I put the name of the song up there because y'all always ask the name of the songs I play on here, so I'm trying to get them out. So it's Awakening, and that's Minister Michael Norman, and he was on here the other day, and that was pretty. It was a good interview. Brother's doing a lot out there. So yeah, as y'all can see today, the title of the lesson is Being Led by the Spirit. Okay, and we're gonna take all the mystical, ghostly, understandings of what, because you hear this said a lot, being led by the Spirit and all that. But we're gonna break it down very clearly, okay? To where there is no wiggle room on this thing. You understand? So so people can understand what it is to be led by the Spirit and and the power of that, of walking in that way. And we're gonna break it down in a non mystical, overly spiritual way, for lack of a better word. I'm saying in an overly spiritual way. When I say overly spiritual, when people be in there like, oh, this is the Spirit, and acting like nuts. And I'm not saying that's wicked. You could say that's just excitement, but that's not being led by the Spirit, running around, jumping around, getting sweaty, acting like a nut. That's not being led by the Spirit, according to what the Word says. Okay? So check this out. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Because scripture just popped in my mind. All right, good. Here we go. All right. So the verse that I have here is okay. It's John 6:63. Okay? So we're gonna and real fast, let me say shalom to everybody, because I still folks are still coming in. Folks are still getting on here. I just realized that, especially on YouTube. I see people still coming in. So let me say shalom to everybody watching. Shalom to Mila. Good to see you. And I think you got the name of the song there. Baruch Brown, shalom. Marcus, shalom to you. My man Yehukanan, shalom. Rodney, shalom. Shana, shalom. Shaka Yahuwah, Yisrael, shalom. Good to see you in there. Gatriel, shalom. Alyssa, shalom to you. Jamil, shalom. Mila, shalom to you. Cornelius, good to see you in there. Shalom. And Steven, shalom. Good to see you watching. All right, and on YouTube, Carmina, shalom. Jackie Rice, shalom. Positive reinforcement, shalom to you. Jackie Rice, Boker Tuv, shalom to Virtuous Jetta, good to see you in there. Liza, shalom. Tammy Printup, shalom. Tyra Ya, shalom. Solda Ya, shalom. All right, and so shalom to all your Virtuous Jetta again. I see you in there, shalom. All right. So good. I'm glad everybody's tuning in. And like I said, this is just going to bring clarity to the statement you hear being said a lot. Hey, you gotta be led by the Spirit. You know what I'm saying? Um, and it's not any. A lot of times it doesn't really get broken down and explained. And like me, the way I learn, I gotta learn it from the foundation. Like I can't just kind of pick up on stuff. I gotta learn it intricately, and in doing that, I'm able to also explain this stuff. And so what we're gonna do is break this thing down. So let let's pull up that scripture I talked about, and that is John 6:63. I don't know if we're gonna read all this, but let's get started. It says, "It is the Spirit that quickeneth; the flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. But there are some of you that believe not." So what he's saying here is what's in the Bible is spirit. Okay? So if you want to be led by the Spirit, or if somebody's saying, "Hey, I'm led by the Spirit," or "Hey, the Spirit told me this," or "I felt this in my spirit," how do you know if what they're saying to you, or what they're doing, or how they're operating, or what popped into your spirit, or what you heard from the Spirit? How do you know whether what you're being led to do, say, or what you're hearing? How do you know that that is spirit? You simply compare it to what is written. If it don't line up to what's in the book, it's spirit, but what spirit? You know what I'm saying? Is it your spirit, or Satan's spirit, or some strange, evil, wicked spirit out there? What spirit is it of? And it says, "Test the spirits by the Spirit." Y'all. I'm sure y'all could put a bunch of scriptures in there, lining up and backing up what I'm saying. So when some, and I don't care who it is telling me something, or who they claim to be, or what title they done, or how many letters they done put in front of their name, or what silly position or rank they done put themselves in. When anybody's saying anything, I test it to what I know according to the word. You know what I'm saying? What I've studied, I compare it to the word. That's why the Most High said, meditate on his stuff daily. Like, keep this thing in you, so that when somebody tell you something that don't line up with this, or you see a situation, or somebody act in some way that don't line up with this word, it makes the alarms go off automatically, because now you got this thing ingrained in you. You know what I'm saying? Everything that's being said and taught out there, go find it. The Most High is not the author of confusion. The way this word is broken down and explained is very simple. I know a lot of people, one of the tactics to get you to follow them and stuff, they want to show you all this deep, complicated, confusing stuff. When the Most High, he's not the author of confusion. Now, he hides stuff. He will hide stuff and reveal it and stuff like that. But even then, when he reveals it, it's very obvious. It ain't confusing. You don't need to have some be some advanced, I don't know. It's not complicated, okay? But my big thing, not even getting into all that, my big thing is I see a lot of people not being led by the Spirit. And we're going to go into this a lot deeper, but it's not complicated. I just watch folks. It says you will know them by their fruits. I say that scripture almost every show. You watch people operate and you'll know what they're being led by. And a lot of people being led by their flesh. And when I say flesh, I'm saying led by emotions, by feelings that they're unaware of. They're just following what they feel, and it's not lined up with the word. So it's not hard to spot somebody being led by the Spirit, and it's not hard to spot people being led by emotions, okay, that are not being led by the Spirit. It's a simple thing of studying the word. And the reason why, and I'm gonna continue with the series I've been doing on, not today, but tomorrow or whatever, on marriage and on relationships, biblical relationships, and I'm gonna continue on Proverbs, okay, on the book of Proverbs, because, and the reason I said that is because those are two areas where you see real fast folks ain't being led by the Spirit. Proverbs, if you want to know if you're being led by the Spirit, read Proverbs. And you're going to see a bunch of areas in your life where you're not being led by the Spirit, me included. That's why I always tell people, hey, read Proverbs. If you want to go in even deeper, read the book of Ecclesiasticus, otherwise known as Sirach in the Apocrypha. Read either one of those, and you're going to get cut. You're going to get scripturally lacerated up in that mud reading them. And you will see where a ton of areas where you are not being led by the Spirit. And it trips. It's crazy the number of people that I'm like, teachers included, that be out there that it's just like a big billboard sign where I see them in error, like not doing stuff according to what's right there in Proverbs. Basic, simple stuff. You need, my 9 and 7-year-old daughter can discern what's being said in those scriptures. Okay? And I see folks just not abiding by it. So Shakad Yahuwah, he posted a script, Proverbs 3:5. He said, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. Okay? And what you see is people trusting their emotions and their feelings and their ingrained, the responses they have become comfortable and used to having their whole life. They're trusting in that with all their heart and bending scripture to line up with those feelings and emotions that they're comfortable with being in covenant with, which otherwise could be said to known as their flesh, and reaping the results thereof, which are curses. Okay, and it's, you gotta understand what I'm saying is not complicated. That analogy I gave, the analogy I give is a car. It's a car driving down the street. You got all these check engine lights on. It says check oil, transmission fluid low, engine overheating. You got brake fluid, like all these check engine lights are on this car, and you're just driving and you're ignoring them, and you're saying, hey, it's all good over here, the Most High got me and all this, when you're getting warning signs to check all this. How do that analogy ties into people. I watch people, they got all these problems in their lives, in their relationships, with themselves, in their heads, all these issues, all these check engine lights, and they're just praising and worshiping it away when they really need to pull the car over and focus on this thing and do the work. and be led by the Spirit, not by feelings and just, stuffing stuff up under, not addressing the issue. Okay? So so saying that again, a lot of people, they're not led by the Spirit. And it's not hard to see. It's like, it's not hard to see. And how do you see? It's like when you see drama and problems surrounding somebody like smoke, they ain't led by the Spirit, because they ain't putting out all these fires all over the place. It's not complicated. It's like Virtuous Jetta said, we need self-checks daily. Yeah. And why is there smoke everywhere? Why do people run around with all these check engine lights on and fire and smoke and raggedy? The car raggedy, and they won't pull over and do maintenance, get maintenance done on it, and do some downtime. Why is that? Why are people not being led by the Spirit? Because due to pride, due to fear, it can be painful to stop and begin to look at these problems and begin to fix them. Okay? But this is where the rubber meets the road. Like, this is what it's about. These people are going into all these deep philosophical or theological breakdowns on scripture. When you fix this, if we focus on this area as a nation, you don't have to talk about building a nation. The people naturally come together. Like, you can't stop us from coming together as a nation if this is in order. But you could drone on about nation all you want. If you got a bunch of non-spirit led people with messy, sloppy lives, you ain't gonna be able to get two of them to come together. All right, Cora put, Shalom. This has been on my mind for days. So what you're saying is confirmation to me. Have some young brothers and sisters who are reading other books and teaching things I can't find. I can't find in King James. I've been in the Bible for many years and feel grieved what they're learning. Exactly. Yeah. Look, hey, look, sister, because you on point. I'm glad you put in there what you say. Look, I see. I see. It's widespread out there, and what it is, a lot of people think, all right, because they can't figure out this simple surface level truth. And not even, I'll go move as far as say, it's not that they can't figure out this simple truth. What your spirit, what the flesh does, it's, somebody post that scripture in there, the flesh is against the spirit. So the flesh does everything it can to avoid being crucified or detected or exposed. So these people, so what happens, a lot of these people come into this, and because they're deceived by their flesh or led by their flesh, they can't see, they can't, because of their pride and their fear, they can't even look at themselves. So they don't even want to consider these simple truths. They want to exalt the flesh with knowledge. Look what I know. Look at my deep understanding. So they got a spirit of pride on them, and they're just trying to teach all this deep stuff when people are getting destroyed out here because of the basics. And I'm telling you, step off from folks like that. Step off from folks like that. All right, step off. Watch out. They also under the wrong spiritual teachings. Yeah. So So Sister Jackie, she write, I listened to a video about wisdom of Solomon, 5 minutes, and dude said Solomon was a reincarnation of Yeshua Mashiach. I was like, yeah, it's like, and see, this is the other thing. When you taking the time and you getting your mind right, um, yeah, exactly. You're hooking out put dudes is studying the Apocrypha and all these other books, and they ain't even studied the 66 books. You know what I'm saying? You know, or let's go even better. Dudes studying all this stuff and going into all this deep stuff, and they ain't even got Proverbs down. They ain't even implementing Proverbs, the book of Proverbs in their life. Cut. So, exactly. Sister Tammy put people looking for every reason not to obey the truth, the word. They're coming up with all this other stuff, man. When you like when you because this is the thing, when you do this basic thing, people could bring some heavy, deep stuff to me, and I could break it down because everything is pointing to this one thing. You have to get your emotions and your feelings and all that aligned with what's written in the word. That carnal, fleshly nature. You got to get that aligned what's in the word. And that is being led by the Spirit. Not if you're making moves and you're getting bad results, you ain't being led by the Spirit. So again, when I see these people, like there's a lot of people I meet and I see, and y'all can confirm this. A lot you see a lot of people, they're not diplomatic and they don't have any charisma really. Like, those people you come across and they're hard to talk to. And it's like you seeing all these signs and you're getting feelings in your spirit about them. Like, hey, what's off, But they're exalting themselves and they're knowledgeable and all this stuff, and people get deceived by that. I don't. All I watch is, okay, what you got going on around you? How are you coming off? And I see people with drama issues, and stuff, all this stuff going on around them. And that's a big sign that, hey, this thing might not be right. Exactly. Discern the spirit of these people out here. And like I said, the reason it said meditate on this word daily, and like with me, I try not to, like, the only time I watch TV is if I'm staying in a hotel somewhere and I'll watch, because the TV's in there, I watch some channels. Outside of that, and that's just kind of feeling the pulse of society and how fast it's degrading. You know what I'm saying? Outside of that, if I'm doing something, if I'm cleaning up around the house, when I'm at work, when I'm driving the car, when I'm sitting around the house, I'm taking something in that's spirit, that's according to this word. Whether it be listening to the audio Bible at work or listening to lessons when I'm driving or whatever, that's all that's going in. Like when I'm at my job, I won't sit there and listen to them stupid 80s rock songs they play all day at work that get me angry because I done heard some of them songs over 100 times. And I can't stand it. You know what I'm saying? I'm always cognizant of what's coming into here. You know what I'm saying? And but you got to meditate on his word daily. That way you could be led by the Spirit. because his words are spirit. Spirit, I mean, the thing ain't complicated. So, brother Shaka Yehuda, he put their hearts are uncircumcised. And I'm glad you put that there, because what does that mean to have an uncircumcised heart? What that means is, to break it down, articulate it in simple to understand terms, is having an uncircumcised heart basically means you don't want to look at yourself and look at your issues and bring the light of Yah on them. What's the light of Yah? What does that look like? Looking at yourself and addressing your issues. What that looks like is reading, again, my recommendation, a good place to start, reading a book like Proverbs, seeing where it says, hey, you need to get this in order in your life. And then you look at yourself and see, oh, that is out of order in me. I need to fix that. That is circumcising your heart. Cutting off these emotions and these carnal, fleshly natures, these emotional responses and feelings that we have that are contrary to what the word says they're supposed to be. Like, some people get angry about stuff that is not righteous to be getting angry about. It's not a sin to get angry. It's a sin to get angry about things that are unrighteous, you know. I'm teaching in the relationship series that I'm doing how a lot of men can't win their women over and can't get their house in order because they can't deal with the frustration of having a rebellious woman. And I'm going through showing men, look, this is how you deal with a woman. You got to have this type of understanding and empathy to what's going on with our women, so that you don't get frustrated when these certain situations come up. And just so I don't leave you on a cliffhanger or anything, I show the things that have happened to our black women and what made them the way they are. And at the end of the day, it comes back to men letting them down. Men not being willing to stand in the gap and just bailing on them. And men have let them down the most basic level when it comes to rape. 50% of our women have been raped or molested and or dogged out by men and stuff like that. Anyway, not getting off the subject, but this is being, this is circumcising the heart, is, for lack of a better word, like me being hard on yourself. My wife will tell you, in the way in this household and stuff like that, and with her, I'm very demanding. Now, I'm not like some tyrant up in here. Folks, like, I don't make it unpleasant to exist where you like burden down and all this, but I am demanding. I do have a standard, and I run and rule my house a certain way, righteously. All right, but I could tell you on myself, I'm brutally demanding. I'm real hard on myself. I push myself hard, and I'm hard on myself, and I like it. You know what I'm saying? Why? Because I felt the pain and the frustration and the hopelessness and the depression that comes when you're not hard on yourself. Like, me not being hard on myself, I could have ruined a lot of lives. But I started being real demanding, very being led by the Spirit in my life years ago. Because the Most High put it in me that I knew there was something off. And so when I see smoke in my life, when I see check engine lights, when I see warning lights on my dashboard of life, I address them. I pull over and I see what's going on with me. Where can I do work at? You know what I'm saying? But I see a lot of people living sloppy lives. They got a whole dashboard full of check engine lights. Cars raggedy, and and they're telling you they good. Oh, I'm good. And I'm telling you, man, this thing is not a game. It's not a game, and it's not complicated, but it can be painful. It's not easy to humble down and look at yourself, but that's why the Most High, he don't like pride. He does not like pride. Pride is what stops you from doing this real work. This is the weighty matter. Anybody, look, if I wanted to, I could stop doing these teachings and study. Good morning. Yeah, if I want to, I can stop doing these teachings and just study and through repetition and learn a bunch of junk. Yeah, not junk, it ain't junk, but it's just repetition to memorize stuff. I can memorize stuff, and to people who lack spiritual understanding, they're like, oh, Michael Israel is spiritually led. Listen to him bring out all that, espouse all that stuff that he done memorized and he just repeating. Anybody can do that. And then y'all start following me because, hey, he sounds like he knows something. But what I'm telling you is what you need to do, what the Bible says to do, and you don't need to follow me or be up under spiritual combat to do it. It's basic book. Like this lesson, what I'm teaching, you take this and begin applying it, and you really don't need to be up under me to go move on with this and get your life together. A lot of people want to trick you through knowledge and repeating stuff they've memorized. They want to trick you into following them and all that stuff like that. And that ain't what this is, man. All right. Yeah, check yourself before, pull over and check yourself before you wreck yourself. All right, Brother Shakai, he put, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law doeth he meditate day and night. Okay? And we got to understand, because I think when people say, hey, keep his law, statutes, and commandment, keep his law, delight in the law, I don't think people understand the level of what that means. Because a lot of people avoid teaching the spiritual aspects of the law. Because the law ain't just wearing your fringes and keeping the Shabbat and all and the feast days and all that surface stuff. What never gets taught out here about the law is the law talks about how to think about stuff, how to deal with situations, how to interact with people in a wise, fruitful way. And I'm telling you, you think I'm playing, but y'all know what I'm talking about. I done dealt with people who are so-called very respected and knowledgeable in the law, and they don't know how to deal with their brother. They're hard to talk to and deal with. They're stubborn, all that. I'm just being 100. And that's the law. Like this, I could show you verses in Proverbs where it tells you how to talk to people and show yourself to be friendly and be easy to talk to and be open and listen and be able to receive correction. Woo! And that's a huge one with our people. As a nation, we're a stubborn and stiff-necked people. One of the hardest things for me was receiving correction and not having, you feel that thing welling up in your, them emotions welling up where you ready to kick back on correction. Matter of fact, when you correct somebody among our people, they call it sin. Like rebuke is the new sin. Evil. You evil. Oh, how they evil. Somebody want to bring something that's off to the surface. Hey, this is sloppy. Hey, they messing up with this. Judge not, lest you be judged. And they quote on, nobody's judging. We're rebuking. We're called to correct. But the Most High Yah has said, as a nation, we're stubborn and we're stiff-necked and we don't like correction. We are stubborn. Sister Carmina, I appreciate that. All praises. But as a nation, we don't like correction. And let me tell you about myself. I early on when I was doing this work, I ran into that spirit in me, and it was so big and powerful. I didn't know what it was. And you got to try to because I got to kind of say something spiritual and put it in. I have to put it in physical terms, but to put it in physical terms, when I ran into how stiff-necked and stubborn I was, and I had seen it for years, but I just thought of it as, I didn't realize what it was, and I thought it was just a reality, and I justified it and thought it was something legit and right. So I was like, well, it couldn't be that. It got to be them or something else. Like, that's how big and powerful that spirit that's on us as a nation. I see it in all of our people. And I run into people who have went through that and conquered that spirit in them. And they are, one of the big signs is they're very easy to deal with. Very easy. They're easy to deal with. And, you know, and their lives reflect it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, like I said, I dealt with that in myself. And after I went through that, a lot of things got easier. My career, at my job, it got easy. Okay, my career got easy because I work with these other nations, and they can bring that out in you. And a lot of people struggle in their careers because of that spirit. Don't even get me started on relationships. A lot of people struggle in their relationships. A lot of people, I've had people get mad about what I teach here because they don't want to face that spirit in themselves. Okay? And that spirit is pride. You know what I'm saying? Pride brings that spirit out. Like pride is the underlying foundation of that spirit, that stubborn and stiff-necked spirit. Okay? So, look, 90, yeah, I'd say 90. 90, almost 100% of the problems in your life are due to that spirit. That we have a stubborn and stiff-necked spirit. Okay, let me break it down like this. My life had got so painful and so frustrating that I was so desperate that I was willing to consider anything and look at anything to figure out why I was getting the results I was getting in my life and why things were the way they are. And the Most High led me to that big, giant monster of stiff-necked, stubborn pride. And I was like, oh, you know, and I began cutting on it. And it's painful. It's painful being humiliated. But humiliation is not a bad thing. Humiliation is good because it humbles you and it kills pride. So what happens, what humiliated me was different situations in life. Like one of them was, I was 27 years old and I had never been in a relationship that lasted over a month. And it was, these relationships will pop up here and there, and it was just, you know, smash it and go on. And I didn't know why it worked out or why they ran off. You know what I'm saying? And it was just, and it was loneliness, and I was just stuffing it away, not facing the situation, and you know, there was alcoholism, pornography addiction, and all that stuff. Okay? And eventually, I was like, you know what? I'm messed up. You know what? I got to work on these issues. You know what? I got to be hard on myself, and I was. So I faced it. And at the end of the day, what you don't what let me break this down. Now this is real heavy. That spirit of being stubborn and stiff-necked, it literally intelligently blocks you from seeing yourself as a problem in your issues. But you're the common denominator in every problem in your life. Every single problem in your life, the only thing that's the same about every single problem you got in your life is you. Outside of that, nothing else. So if you want to rectify these problems, you got to look at yourself. Oh, that person's argumentative though, Michael Israel. So how could that be me when they're difficult? They're argumentative. Like I had an ock at my job. You know, he was getting into it with our boss. Okay, and our boss is short tempered and can be condescending and all that. But the book tells you to humble down and deal with even the froward boss, or the difficult to deal with boss, to humble down and deal with him wisely and show him honor and not get into it. Basically, I showed him that scripture, and you would have thought I poured water on a circuit board or something that was plugged in, because you could see him literally short-circuiting there and wrestling with that spirit in his head, like zzz, zzz, zzz. And he walked off glitching, literally, and just walked off. And then he came back to me later and he was like, "You right, man." He's like, "That's a tough one." Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to be humiliated, humbled, and face that spirit, you know. And the thing is, after you do this type of work, you have more empathy and understanding for other people, because you realize the power of these spirits that cause you to have pride, and you understand why people are wrestling with themselves and all that stuff like that. So Sister Virtuous Jetta put, character is so important. I tell my children that all the time. Exactly. Yeah, my wife, Sister Koya, she said, when you're wrong about something, just admit you're wrong. And I can tell, look, and then in a relationship, it's magnified, this pressure, okay, or facing yourself and dealing with your problems are any character flaws you have with that you have in yourself, when you get into a relationship, they get amplified and put right in your face. And this is why a lot of people, their relationships ain't fruitful and working, because they can't face themselves. They can't see their part in the equation. Now, me and Koya, in our marriage, this is something I can always say. Like, when we've gotten in arguments, we calm down, come back, and she can always admit where she was wrong, and I'm always willing to admit where I was wrong, and we make it work. And we can actually joke about whatever the argument was. And that's why now we're going on 11 or something years, and we're growing and maturing in our marriage, to where, man, because I teach, the core of my ministry is relationship development, helping people with relationships. And the people I see wrestling and with all these problems in their relationship, I can always pinpoint, I see where they're not looking at themselves in. And it's real, it can be like, I've seen some people real entrenched, hard. Like they got a fortified, it's what they call a stronghold in that spirit of pride, where there's no way they'll consider and look at themselves. And relationships end up being a mess. Somebody put, being stubborn causes stagnation in your life. That's right. I wrestle with this matter and realizing why I'm not a CPA. You mean CPA like accountant? But yeah, But yeah, we have a stubborn and stiff-necked spirit as a nation. Like, if you Israel, our people in this country, we stubborn and stiff-necked. And you can see it. Just look in your family. Look at yourself. If you can't see it in yourself, just look at your family members or some of the people around you. You'll see it on them. But it's widespread. And I know it's on me. And it's like you got to kill that spirit, and it'll come back. There's still areas of my life where I'm actively slaying that thing. Because I'm not sitting here saying, oh, Michael Israel is... I walk around here all perfect and all that. It's work. I ain't arrived. I'm putting this work in with myself. All right? Yeah, that pride is dangerous, man. And see, this is the scary thing. Let me say this. This is a scary thing, man. Having spiritual discernment, and what increases your spiritual discernment is doing this specific type of work. And what's happened with me is, like, sometimes, and I'm learning because I'm still growing, but sometimes from doing this work, my discernment is even stronger. And I see this thing I'll be watching YouTube videos of people teaching, leaders people that have huge followings, and I see where they ain't did this work. And it's like, whoa. And I'm like, well, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the issue. Like, maybe I shouldn't think that. But now I'm like, oh, I'm thinking this. Because it's where I've seen it, it's come out. It later on, like beloved Dawid says, life always confirming everything that I'm learning. Like, and I'll see something and say, nah, I shouldn't think that. And then later on, it gets confirmed. And now, I don't say that no more. When I see it, I trust the spirit. I trust that discernment I have because I'm meditating on this word day and night. I'm casting down those contrary things that exalt themselves against this knowledge, like that scripture says. So that now, when my discernment says something, I trust it. Woo! Man, and something else just hit me that I seen. It was like, man, I felt that too. And I trust, because my emotions in certain areas are aligned with the word. And the reason I know that my emotions are aligned with the word is because I know what the word says. So when that emotion pops up, is that according to the word? Yeah, it is. Because I'm studying all the time. It's like, man. And then you be seeing stuff with people. It was like, dang, demons got them too. It's like, whoa. It's like that. You remember that movie where the guy puts on the glasses and he's looking around and everybody's really this alien and all that? Yeah. So, anyway, man. All right. Shalom, Sister Diamond. You put, we have to constantly self-examine ourselves. And let me say this. And really, that's all we could do to a certain extent for the most part is fix ourselves. And when people see how we're walking, how we're moving, how we're acting, how we handling situations, when people see that, then they're curious. And I'm telling you, that's what happened at work. That's how that guy came up to me and he was asking me. He sees how the boss is real cool with me and all that stuff. And I show the boss respect and all that. And he sees our relationship and he's like, man, what's going on with you? Like, why is this? And how come with me is that and this, that? And boom, showed him. It wasn't like I was trying to force it down his throat. Because I quit doing that too. Because that was, that's a whole nother lesson. All right. All right, let's see what y'all said. So Sister Alyssa made a good statement here. She said, I love the pruning of the Most High. I seek to be as fruitful as I can before Yah. Exactly. Like, and I've come, like I know now, and it says a wise person, seeks correction or whatever. It said correct a wise man and he'll appreciate it and all that. Correct a fool and it's gonna be a problem, basically. I didn't quote it word for word, but this is the thing. With me, when somebody comes and says, "Hey man, you're doing this and this might be all," and they correct me, I'm like, man, thank y'all. You just saved me a bunch of time, because it's hard to see where you're off at sometimes. So I welcome the correction because it's saving me a bunch of time, pain, and work doing it myself. So if somebody come and tell me where I'm off at, I'm considering it. And I'm not like getting up like some people get. Like you correct them, and then some people, I've seen spirits rise up in them to where I was like, yo, is this dude gonna stab me in my back? Literally with a knife? Like, is this dude getting ready to punch me in my mouth? Like, I've felt spirits like that well up in him. I was like, whoa, this dude do not like correction. You see what I'm saying? I've seen that type of thing. Let's see. That is the main reason many can't be awakened. Yep, that's right, Denise. Yeah, that's the reason. And that's the reason why you can't. A lot of times you can't get two people to work together or whatever, is because of that. And that with me and the way I deal with people out here, the main thing, I don't get. I'm not some doctrine Nazi, and what are you teaching on the doctrine and all that. You believe in Yahusha, you believe in the Mashiach, and there's those basic things, then I'm going to deal with you. But I don't, like, the main thing I'm looking at is your character, because I don't care if somebody believe 99% of what I believe, but their character off, I'm not dealing with them. I'm done. I'm not dealing with people who are not being led by the Spirit. I'm not dealing with people being led by emotions and feelings that they've had their whole life as kids. Because I see a lot of people, they're teaching like advanced college theological professors, they're, like, I am the authority on this book. But then I'm looking at them at spiritually, they're a little child. They have child responses in certain situations in their life. They respond just like children. They're hindered in their development. They're hung up because they got spirits of pride blocking that thing. So we got to do that work, and that's how I discern who I'm gonna be dealing with and who I'm not. Yeah, that the school of hard knocks is a hard teacher. That's right. So and what it's about is just doing this work and being humble and being the biggest step. The biggest step is just saying, you know what, I got issues. I messed up. I need to do this work and begin looking. That's it. Like, and that's what I mean. When you admit that, look, I messed up and I got issues that I need to work on, that after that, I could deal with somebody like that all day. But people cleverly twisting and manipulating scripture to make themselves feel high, or to avoid addressing an issue, or to avoid looking at themselves, or for whatever reason, people who avoid being led by the Spirit and just being manipulative and complicated and confusing and all that, I don't deal with people like that. But the person who knows they got issues, that's huge. Like, those are Spirit-led people. And they don't think they are, but they are. And a lot of those people, they get led this way because I'm banging on this thing. I'm trying to empower them to overcome this thing. Not get them to be up under spiritual combat ministries led by general, pastor, apostle, CEO Commander Michael Israel. That's not my agenda. I want to empower y'all so that y'all could go out and spread it even further. Multiply. All right, instead. All right. So Sister Diamond, she put being awakened to the knowledge of who we are and being led by the Spirit is two different things. That's right. After we awaken, we must do the work. Exactly. Yes, we must do self-examination and rid ourselves of all this leaven. Yeah. Knowing who you are as a nation, that is a small part of it, because the reason why we don't know who we are is because of this behavior, this spirit, this stubborn, stiff-necked spirit as a nation. That's why we're in the predicament we're in as a nation. You must do self-examination and rid ourselves of all this leaven. That's right. All right. Let's see. So like I said earlier, we have to be led by the Spirit. That is, and like I broke down earlier, to a minute, unconfusing, ain't no getting around it. Like I broke it down in the very simple, understandable terms. Being led by the Spirit. I showed you John chapter 6, verse 63. He said the words that he speaks are spirit. And those words are what is written in our instruction book, in the Bible. And being led by them is doing them. And if you're having a hard time doing them, that means you have another spirit in you that you need to do what? Spiritual combat to. Go to war with. Okay? And that's being led by the Spirit. Is literally getting those carnal emotions aligned with what the Word says. So if you're having emotional responses that are contrary to what is written in books like Proverbs or Psalms and stuff like that, but Proverbs, I think, is the simplest, most basic, straightforward. It's almost impossible to misinterpret that book. You know what I'm saying? That's a good place to start. All right, Hosea put Kanak, that's why I no longer deal with camps. It's all about putting on a front for leadership as if we aren't still in these corruptible bodies. We must stop meek. We must stay meek like King David was before he got his crown. And I will move. I'm gonna go ahead and I'll put it to you like this. I wouldn't just move to say camp. There's other organizations that are secretly structured just like the camps, okay, where you're serving the organization. And you got to check, when you're making your moves or you're saying things, you got to check with the organization. And it's not being led by the Most High. Yeah. So yeah, I'm at the end of the day, joining some organization ain't gonna help you get your mind right. A lot of times, if you ain't got your mind right and you ain't got your spirit right, and you join an organization, you're gonna be serving that organization, and you're not gonna be serving the Most High Yah and getting your mind right, doing this work. Now, if you get your mind right, and you're being led by the Spirit, and you don't work through all these issues and hangups you got, and you got that stuff in order. Now you got more time to, maybe you could go in an organization if it's being led of Yah. But like I said, you gotta, that's a whole, you try to get me to do a whole nother lesson on something else. But let me say this, though. This is what I will say, okay? If you ain't got your mind right, if you're going through life and you're driving through life in your spiritual car and there's check engine lights and warning bells and it's engine overheating, low oil, transmission fluid low, brakes worn, and all these warning signs are in your life, and your life is sloppy and messy. Your relationships are mess. Your mind ain't right. You wrestling with depression and anxiety and all these other issues. So you're getting, the Most High has sent all these warning signs in your life that you need to do some work. Forget an organization. Hit the brakes, pull over in your life, and focus on getting your mind right. Because if you die tomorrow, it's the end of days for you. It's the most important thing outside of taking your next breath. It's more important than water, what I'm saying. Getting your mind right is more important than eating and drinking water. The only thing more important than getting your mind right is taking your next breath. Breathing. Saying that, if you ain't got your mind right, okay, so because and the reason I'm saying that, I've counseled people in these organizations, and they're so busy they can't take a day off or a couple months off because they're so busy serving the organization. They're going to work, they're doing all this stuff, and they ain't got time to get their mind right. Because you're doing all this crap for some organizations. Stop, hit the brakes, and do what you need to do. Even me with spiritual combat, if it got to a point where I felt like things were beginning to get out of control in my family, in my life, in my mind, the first thing to go would be spiritual combat. I could care less. Because otherwise, I'm gonna be out here teach. I'm gonna start showing y'all how to sidestep the spirit, and do this, the carnal sidestep. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to be making excuses and come up with all these crazy lessons to avoid being led by the spirit. So, and let me put it to you like this, because I'm not just saying stuff I ain't done. When I began to come into realization that I had to work on myself, that I was the issue, that I was a common denominator in all the problems in my life, I cut all my friends off. I cut all my family off. The only thing I did was go to work, come back home, and study. Go to work, came back home and study. I wasn't dealing with people at all. I was just getting this mind right, because I realized if I didn't get this mind right, eventually go off to the point where it could be detrimental. Okay? And y'all know that's real talk. Like, that's part of the reason why I'm so adamant about relationships. I've seen a lot of people have been in my life that have committed suicide because they didn't get their minds right. They have destroyed themselves. Heavy stuff, man. I'm telling you, over relationships and stuff like that. Folks shooting themselves in the head with shotguns. Folks burning themselves up with gas. Not playing around. Get your damn mind right. Stop playing and try and get a bunch of knowledge. Get your mind right. I see there's the only thing more important than doing what I'm saying is breathing. Because if you stop breathing, you're gonna pass out. You don't even worry about getting a glass of water. You need water every day or something. Like the priority is getting your mind right. You go off, your mind go off too far in the wrong way and get too demonically possessed, you ain't gotta worry about getting dehydrated. I'm telling you this because I see a lot of silliness out here, man. A lot of people. Anyway, I'm not going there. Y'all heard what I said, man. And for those of y'all who tuned in late, man, go back and watch the beginning of the video where I was really breaking down to a T what being led by the Spirit is. Y'all, I appreciate y'all. Sister Hannah, appreciate you and what you did in there, your contribution. If y'all want to help me and help this ministry and you're on YouTube, hit the like button. I need that. Just hit the like button if you're over there on YouTube. That I appreciate that. And I appreciate what you did, Sister Hannah. Really appreciate that. My email address is right there on the screen. Okay? If you got questions, comments, concerns, I know the one sister sent me a breakdown on how that other message had really blessed her. So I appreciate you sending that, because I was just telling my wife, man, stuff like that really encourages me, keeps me going with this thing. So, but yeah, please help me out. Hit that like button if you're on YouTube. That's you can really, and then if you're on Facebook, if you want to help the Spiritual Combat Ministry, just share the video, man. Appreciate it. That's how y'all can help me, and hit the like button on Facebook. And I appreciate y'all tuning in and getting edified and being willing to hear this stuff, because this is the weighty matter. This is the heavy stuff. It hurts. It can hurt beginning to do this, but as you begin to get comfortable with it, like, I'm used to pain. Like, pain don't bother me. I'm comfortable with the uncomfortable. I'm comfortable in uncomfortable situations. But that's part of being a man. That's part of being a warrior and a soldier. Because you're going to be in the trenches with bullets, spiritual bullets flying over your head and bombs going off. And you're going to be doing spiritual combat. And if you're going to do spiritual combat and be a soldier, you got to be comfortable in battlefield situations. Okay? And that's what I'm training up here. I'm just training y'all to be soldiers so that y'all can go out and fight and train up more soldiers. Because we're in a war. And the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. Right? We go script for script on that thing. Let's see, Chicago, he put, I appreciate your work. Man, I appreciate you tuning in. Shaka. I'm gonna figure out how to pronounce your name too. But I appreciate you tuning in, and I appreciate your contribution, the information you were putting in, because that helped me with my lesson. Shalom, Sister Melanie. I'm glad you tuned in. Appreciate y'all watching. Like I said, y'all on YouTube, hit that like button on YouTube if y'all can. D Brew, good to see you in there. My man D. D Brew, he's right here in Jacksonville, man. He does he makes shirts for me sometimes. He's a shirt maker. Oh yeah, man. Check out my Ock D Brew, man. He's over there on Facebook. Let's see what y'all say. You can go days without water. Getting your mind right is more important. You see, Sister Kamishi backing up exactly what I said. Like, I'm literally not playing around. Like, I'm serious about what I'm saying. It's like, I see, man, I'm just telling you, I walk around here, I see a lot of people who, they're walking around and they're so spiritual, they're like twisted up and so out of order. It's like you could see it on them. You could see it in their life. It's like Corey was saying yesterday, we don't have no bones up in our closet. Some people, you see the closet bulging and bones is falling out and they can't even close the door and stuff falling out the closet. We keep our closet open with a floodlight on it so you can see what's up in there. And it ain't nothing to be proud of. It's humiliating looking at some of the areas where you a mess at. You know? So yeah. Let's see. That's why. Yeah, so okay, thanks, man. Cha. To bow or worship. That's good. Sha. Cha. Shacha. Let me know if I said that right. Shacha. Let me know if I said that right. All right. See, I can be taught. I can be taught. Yeah, let me know if I said that right. But anyway, y'all, with that said, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Like I said, I'm going to continue the series I'm doing on Proverbs and the relationship series that I've been doing. I'll be doing part 3 here soon. Just this here, I felt this needed to be addressed and put out there. And this ties right in with what I've been teaching. Also, I want to let y'all know, Tampa, we're going to be doing a Tampa Shabbat. If you're in the Tampa area, definitely put this on your calendar. May 18th at 1 p.m., Port Tampa Community Center. We got it all set up. Lorvins will be performing there. Brother Malachi will be teaching. I'll be teaching. Koya Israel, my wife, she'll be doing some singing. So will my daughter, or daughters. They can do the shimmer or whatever. Definitely put it on your calendar to come out there and fellowship with us if you're in that area. You can find the information about it will be on thebrewlink.com. If you got any questions, you can email me. My email is right there on the screen. You can see it. But go on over to the Brewlink and definitely go over there and check out all the other stuff the Brewlink has to offer. You can also find ministries and Hebrews that are near you. And if you have a question about the Hebrews near you, or just Hebrews that might live near you in your area, okay? And they're all over the place, or if you're looking for a ministry. And if you have questions about any of the Hebrews or any of the ministries in the area, definitely hit me up, and I might be able to give you guidance or say, you know what, I don't know them, be careful. Or I'll find somebody who knows them who could give a report on them. But there's ministries, a lot of ministries I've dealt with and I could recommend, you know what I'm saying? But definitely put that on your calendar to come on out there to our Tampa Bay Shabbat next month, May 18th, okay? Definitely want to see you out there. We're trying to link up all the brothers and sisters who might feel isolated with people they can fellowship with. All right. With that said, man, I'm going to take us out with the song from my Michael Norman. Okay? And it's called Awakening. And I'll put the information up here on the screen. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Keep us from 9 a.m. making it is okay. So anyway, with that said, I'm gonna take us out. I'll just read Shakar. Okay, she explained how to pronounce your name. Okay. Anyway, enjoy the song. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Shalom, y'all.
Deuteronomy 28. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Most High thy power, to observe and do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Most High God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. But if thou wilt not hearken to the voice of the Most High, to observe and do all his commandments, then curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
All these lies and delusions, wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of the light. I am awakened, I am awakened.
Israelites, seek out the ways of the heathen, to make a covenant with Satan's government. Turn their face away from the Most High, evil desire. 2 Kings 17 said they passed their sons and daughters through the fire. They begin cutting divine spiritual ties, clinging to the heathen lies. Evil spirits bind, breaking souls, breaking spirits, ripping flesh, breaking minds. Running from the Most High wrath on the blood-stained path. 70 AD, Israelites fall. The Most High's chosen seed go into captivity. Hebrew Israelites watch nations rise. They watch nations fall. Four beasts, Babylon, Medo-Persia, Greece. We pray for the fall of the fourth beast. Under the iron foot of Rome, we long to go home. A hopeless nation lies dead in the valley of the dry bones. Simulation of Shemites to Hamite clones. Israelites wrong.
All these lies and delusions wake me up, show me a new dawn. Open your eyes, rise, children of light. I am awakened, I am awakened.
Israelites enslaved to build a wicked nation. No true identity, only tribulations. Fed scraps of swine, we eat the worst of the animal kind. Used, confused, they set us in high places to be abused. Control the tribe, control the tribe. Our leaders take bribes to continue the lies. Fourth beasts behind the scene in the skies, watching with the all-seeing eye. The heathen take flight into a new world order. Hebrews sleepwalking into a wicked system that's gonna fall. Awake, awake, reject Babylon. Hear the trumpet of awakening throughout the day and night. Awake, the Most High's people, the Israelites. The earth has swallowed the flood of deception. The harvest ripe for collection. His people are walking, standing like a mighty army. The Most High has summoned, the Hebrews are coming. Awake, come out of captivity. Awake, you who sleep. Arise, receive the Most High's laws and commandments. We are the Israelites.
In my mind, all these lies and delusions